What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals! In case you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, we were knocking because we're knocking at the cabin door.
That's what
That's
we
what we're
were
here to
doing.
review. M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong is is here.
Such an old
Uh,
joke.
I know. M. Night back. Dave Batista, Rupert Grint. Um, we're here to talk about it. Thank you, Movie patrons. Go check out the podcast. It will be back, episode 20, Monday. Look out for it. We're here to talk about it, review it. So here's our non-spoiler review for Knock at the Cabin. Kyle, what were your positives of the film?
Well, before that, in case if people don't know what the story is, it's about a young girl and her parents who are taken hostage by four armed strangers who are wanting to have them make the unthinkable choice about saving the world from the apocalypse. And
By killing one or the other.
my positives were that it was a very good thriller that had me on the edge of my seat that also had, I think, a nice, at least personal touch to it. And when it comes to Shyamalan, I think everyone is in agreement with this. He tends to have a hit and miss rating when it comes to his movies. Like, you like one movie, suddenly there'll be
Yeah.
two others that stink. When I was seeing Old, I was on his bad side. I really didn't like Old, and I just was not interested in whatever came out. But I'm glad I wound up changing my mind and checking out Knock at the Cabin because I was really impressed by this movie.
Thank God he listened to
Um,
me.
I thought some of his tendencies. I did listen to Alex. He was a big part of it. Everyone give him a shout out. Tell him thank you.
Thank you.
Uh,
You're welcome.
but what I really liked was that I felt like he didn't go all out and overuse his usual tendencies that could wind up making his movies not be very good. I thought here he was much more constrained, given that he was able to use source material from this book that sounds to be really good. And I think he was able to really dig deep into like what the story was trying to do and was able to parallel that with his movie really well. At least judging by the movie that I saw, I haven't read the book, but I kind of made that out to be what was happening here. And I just thought he did a really good job at making me go at the edge of my seat, wondering whether all this stuff relating to the apocalypse is true or not, whether these people are just completely crazy and they think that something's happening and they're just really tricking them. And it never felt like it was going over the top and over explaining like how this is possible or what is going on. I thought it was the right touch of like mystery combined with an end result that um really just had me floored, but also just made me really think about like the movie's messaging of it all. And I was just really impressed by it. It didn't feel like the script was going over and beyond on like trying to over explain itself. I thought it was really tight and concise in what it was trying to do. And it really helped for the performances as well. Dave Batista, I thought was incredible at this, but I was also just really impressed by Ben Aldridge and Jonathan Groff, who were great together. I thought that their
Yeah.
chemistry was very good. I really bought them as a couple in love, but who also, has some trials and tribulations to go through, which are shown in some great flashback scenes that I thought were really nice touches as well. More of showing and not just telling you, which didn't help didn't ruin the runtime of the movie at all. It was just a very great 90-minute movie from start to finish, had a really good pace to itself. And like I said, had a really good personal touch to it. At least to me, it felt like it had like a good
Yeah.
personal connection of of just otherwise a really riveting
Bruh.
horror thriller. Are you yelling at your cat?
He won't stop meowing. Bruh. Daddy's filming. What do you need? Come on.
Anyway, I really like this movie. I was very impressed by it. Alex, what about
Bruh.
you?
Um, Apologies for the kitty. Uh M. Night, he in the 90s comes out with a couple really good movies, and then it was pretty much just bad, 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 bad.
Mhm.
Split comes out, and everybody's like, he's back. He's not only back, better than ever. And then Glass came out, and they were like, oh, we spoke too soon. I didn't mind Old. I liked it more than you. I thought Old had a really cool idea that just wasn't executed very well, with
Sure.
some good performances. I really liked Knock at the Cabin. I thought it was a very fun little horror thriller movie. And I'm a sucker for a good disaster movie. So you had the apocalypse in there, and I'm having a ball. It's just the truth,
Sure.
bruh, chill. No, chill, bruh. He's got a lot to say about M Night. Um,
I
but
hate him.
I uh, there's been all this talk about these wrestlers who've been actor, blah 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 blah, and everybody's like, Dave Batista's doing like the work. He doesn't want to be known as an actor turned or a wrestler turned actor. He just wants to be known now as an actor, and he is great. Like truly, he could get some Oscar caliber roles. I think he might have the talent in him. Like he blew me away in this. Rupert Grint, I really liked in it. He's not necessarily in it a lot, but I thought he um, did a phenomenal job. And it made sense he was in it because M. Night has had a show on Apple with Rupert as the lead that apparently
Mhm,
is very good. I've not checked it out, but it's actually been on my list for a while to watch. Just haven't had the time. And
mhm,
uh, that show alone has gotten people pretty hyped up for it. Um,
mhm.
the two guys, the mains, Jonathan Groff, and what was the other actor's name?
Ben Aldridge.
They were great. The little girl was really great. I mean, every performance in here was really good.
Yeah.
Um, but I had a good time with the story. I read a lot of I didn't read the short novel or the short story at right after, but I did read up a little bit about it. And the movie doesn't play into the Shyamalan twists as much, I would say. Like there, there's not this huge overarching twist necessarily, but it did change some stuff up from the story, which I thought was really interesting from the original short story.
Mhm.
But I really dug it. I did hear that M Night since like the mid 2000s, like After Earth and everything, is now financially responsible for his own movies completely. That
Still
studio
finances them.
him money that he has to self
Mhm.
finance it, which means he gets all the money back. And apparently, like I saw something that said Split cost him $9 million and he made $287 million back. So
Do you not think there's a deal
M Night's
where the
doing okay.
distributor still gets, like, a chunk of it? Because
Oh,
that would be
sure.
really surprising if
I'm
yeah.
sure, but
Okay.
it's let me have fun with my big numbers. He's still got a big chunk of cash.
Sure,
Um,
sure. I
but
was just making sure.
this
Yeah.
movie I thought was pretty good. It's not perfect. I know some critics are really hating on it and some are really enjoying it and some are kind of middle. I had a good time in the theater. It's got a perfect little runtime. So I enjoyed it. What were your negatives?
I can't really say that I have any. I mean, I
Wow.
understand some of criticisms that I've heard, mainly when it comes to still hearing, like, clunky dialogue from, Shyamalan, this and that. I didn't really personally feel it as much as in, like, many other movies that I've seen of his. Like, I thought this like I said, a much tighter script that, I believe he had some other writers help him with this, or at least were a part of it, so maybe Shyamalan wrote it first and they were like, "This is great, but let's take out some of these monologues and some dialogue here and just make it a little bit tighter." Maybe that's along the lines. And some of the themes of the movie, I just personally disagree with them. Like, I think people were kind of judging them a little wrongly, but for myself, I thought they were pretty good. So I just didn't really have too many bad things to say about this movie. I just thought it was very well done by Shyamalan. It was a very impressive movie. Glad that he was able to, bounce back again from kind of the low streak that he was having again. So I was kind of here for um what he had to do here in this movie. I was really impressed by it and really liked it.
Yeah, it's not the greatest script. I think you can tell that it's not fully M. Night working on this one. Um,
Mm,
I did think
sure.
some of the camera work was pretty poor across the board. There were a few shots I was like, wow, that's a great, like old school M. Night, like really good horror shot. But that was far and few in between, or whatever the saying is. Like it was
Sure. I'd say that
most of
too.
the time I thought the camera work was very, very poor. And in a
Mm,
horror movie, I think you can do a lot with a camera in a horror movie, even more so than other genres. And it took some of the tension away, I thought at times. At times it really worked. There was one scene that I legitimately was like nervous, which
mm.
was really good. But um yeah, some of the camera work I thought was a little poor, but overall I thought it was just a fine little movie. It's a movie that I probably would revisit again of his. Like it would be higher on the list to see than quite a few others of his movies. So, yeah, anything else?
Shyamalan's back in my good graces. We'll see how long that lasts. But I was just really happy to see uh
What have we
a
been seeing
surprise for
lately?
me, a surprise movie that I wound up enjoying. So hopefully other people can do the same. I
All right,
encourage them
guys,
to
what
see
did
it.
you think? Comment below. Let us know. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.